Initialize booting. These are your targets.
The fact that SJ were able to get 9 rounds on their T side really shows there's maybe a bit more of a, exploit factor that AGF might have in their back pockets that Apeks could look to really bring it to the table. But ninth round was seeming to be won by AGF, so they will choose that CT side to begin on once again. But we know there's definitely options here for the Norwegian side of Apeks. We'll see how this map takes place. It is the opening one here on the series. 9-5 Group C elimination match. It's going to the death. Whoever loses this is out of the group. No chance to make it into that Swiss stage for next week. And we'll see exactly where it goes. It is AGF on that CT side, already aggressing for the early information. Lukey showing good signs early.
Lukey has done the same thing against SG Gaming again, except this time around, it's not that successful. He does not pick up an early frag. In fact, Apeks looks like they will consider to just now fully commit to the B bomb side. They have the players to do so. The utility has been deployed. Netric losing a big chunk of health here at AGF. They will continue on holding the bomb side. In fact, Frostov has come in with the necessary rotation. Lukey picks up one from the skies. And that will be Apeks making their way to the bomb site. And most importantly, getting that bomb planted. But look at this. AGF, they're not backing away. They're getting a few crucial pickups.
So far as that bomb is down, they don't... Oh, they do have a defuse kit, sorry, but it's on Netric with 7 points of health. However, Akez tries to get the wrap around, connects onto the first, but now exposes his position. Unfortunately, that smoke is down. TMB to finish the job. And AGF do bag the pistol round. A great start, a little ninja defuse protected by TMB there. And that's a great way to begin. Apeks will be finding themselves, sure, a bomb plant. So that means they will make a rebuy, it seems. AK was just dropped out there, so we've got some big guns coming for round number 2. But it at least sets AGF up, pistol round and a buy round to come with the potential to make this 3-0. But they've got a bump in the road to overcome here with Apex's second round.
Yeah, the second round has come in, and Apeks not wasting any time, going for the investment with using the pistols now. Actually, just the one pistol, shall I say, in the hands of Akez, whereas the other players, I mean, it is rifles. Certainly, you can see free rifles being picked up. What you don't get to see too often is 4. 2 AK-47s, 2 Galelos here for Apeks. And if you're a team like AGF, you're not 100% sure what you're going up against, so you need to be incredibly careful. That's why they're not going for any sort of map control or anything of the sort. They're playing this one rather safe. But look at Akez. He somehow picks up Cristo here with the deagle. And the fact is that he's still lingering around here, and we are seeing a rotation. Akez has done enough. The remaining players can just commit on the B side.
Oh, this is such a good start right now. Frostlef. Sure, he trades one, but it will not make a difference whatsoever. Down into a save for AGF, and they are straight back to winning ways here for Apeks. An instant response, and that is exactly what you want to see on this side for Apeks. And a simple bounce back was all it took. A buy round into the second, get those rifles out, and it seems to be a tried, tested, and proven method of success. So, Apeks, first round on the board. AGF, sure, they saved some decent weaponry, but a great start for the T side to already counter that CT uprising. It's a positive start, showing that they're willing to take those sort of risks, especially on a map like Train, and a risk that definitely paid off here.
Yeah, it definitely has paid off here for the roster of Apeks. In particular, like Akez, you're not really expecting to find so much impact with the deagle. Chances are that you might push out, you might be this human decoy. But fact is, Akez, not only does he make sound, but he also makes a pretty big bang. Gets a headshot on one of the players, and that was more than enough to force the rotation from AGF all the way from the B side to the A side. And then the remaining players, as they push on the B bomb side, you saw Troops securing the frag, and from there on out, the round is just won. Sometimes that's just how it is. If you manage to secure that B bomb site very quickly, it is more than enough to secure the victory. The remaining players is up that, you know, we're just better off saving our guns for the next one.
Especially with some of the weapons they've got saved up here, there could be a real test, even for Apeks in this position, to try and get away with their second round. They've got an M4 still on the field, make that 2 of them actually, a FAMAS in there as well, so the weaponry is actually fairly decent here for AGF. It's all about Apeks just trying to overwhelm a Netric. That's a great way to begin, because now they can pretty much clear out the entirety of B halls. Realizing now that it's relatively clear, Cristo does get tagged down and finished by Marcelius. CT flank to come, and now it seems like maybe there's a chance, but no, Netric again with that AK coming up absolutely massively. A 3v2 now, and sure, a couple players tagged, but it's AGF that do have the man advantage.
Man advantage could be more than just enough for them to secure the victory, AGF. Apeks now. Oh, that's an awkward position. Frostlef does eliminate Dennis, who gets caught in rotation, and Akez, being left in a 1 versus 3, knows the positioning of the player that killed his buddy. But he doesn't even have the bomb with him. He has not picked it up. So he might just move around the corner to get a kill here on Netric, but he's really got to hurry up right now to recover the bomb. It is wasting valuable seconds, and the round will go the way of AGF. The saved weaponry has allowed him to pick up the round win against Apeks.
Good start from AGF, back-to-back rounds here. And unfortunately, T-side does not have a great build-up of economy, so yeah, of course they're going to go for the rebuy. Some of these players even under the threshold of being able to purchase, so it made the most sense. But AGF, they do still have a chance right now to even break the cycle. A perfect nade there, dropping players down evenly of health. And Netric again, controlling that Pop Dog position very well. Almost a Boomich style of play where he's not scared to peek under the ladder and actually go for the kills, which has worked out for a couple of times this time. Frostleft, though, does get traded back, but there's plenty of damage inflicted as those nades come flying in. We saw how good SJ's utility sort of usage was on Train. AGF is taking the same path. Those nades are perfect.
Yeah, you got to know your nades in a map like Train. And on the CD side especially. Oh, Christo, this angle should work out for him so well. Oh, does evade the bullets of his opponent. But even better, with him securing that frag, he has put AGF in a very winnable position. For remaining players of Apeks, though, have considered to take over control at Brown Holes, and Christo knows that considering he's the only defender of the B-bomb side, he needs to take less of a proactive role and more of a defensive role. Now he's got also the backup of Luki, so this two-man setup should be more than enough to deal with the incoming onslaught of Apeks players. A lot of noise being made, and Christo, all he has to do is look up and light him up. Very good for Christo, he gets two, and the third one will also almost not be his. Dennis comes out on top. And by 20 seconds, Dennis does not secure the final frag as well. 3-1 it is. AGF managed to pick up an important round win.
So good there from AGF, keeping the tally in their favor for now. They did the sort of right thing to do there as well, knowing that Apeks did still have those rifles out as well. They break the cycle of the rounds here. AGF with an eco to play against should be able to gather round number 4 and start very well here on Trade. Much different to the way they began against SJ, and that's a really positive sign, actually. The fact that SJ did have a very nice lead at the beginning of Train, and now it is Apeks doing exactly that, and these nades again are ruthless. Garoosh just about survives a second one on the way in from Frostleft, but no damage this time. The pistol's still pressing the matter. With Frostleft getting the first, the rest of the side will aggress. And well, they eventually do fall to their death. So 4-1, quick cleanup by AGF, but this is the vital round now for Apeks. They get the big guns out. No AWP, economy won't stretch that far, but plenty of utility at least.
Yes, this is where the players of Apeks, they may be a bit of a disadvantageous position in terms of rounds. It is a 4-1 scoreline in favor of their opponents. But at least now they're in a position where, yes, the reinvestment comes in, they got the grenades, they've got the weapons. Now it's time to see what they're made of. You do see the early smoke grenade being deployed, but that is, of course, not going to do anything for them. They do not commit here on the bomb side just yet, but they do have a few players that might go for some early pop dog presence, where there's a Molotov deployed at that position. But that nade, though, ooh, it's not effective. It is, however, true of losing some of his HP, but again, it's nothing of great significance. It's an early stalemate on Train, and it is a common sight.
Especially in this position for certain. Ooh, Netric. Did he spot? Okay, I don't think he did spot a head there. I think that might be our X-ray. Being a little bit deceiving. Thought he could have got a chance there, but no, he does actually lose his life there, overextending a little bit. And that's one of the detriments of playing inside of Pop Dog. Bruce able to find the early one, although traded quickly. Frostleft. A double perfect there as Akez trading back, but still a 3 versus 3. TMB in a great spot, not yet witnessed by Akez, and with 40 seconds, here comes the time to strike.
They're going to move in here. Marcellus, great frag on one and the second player as well. However, where shall they plant the bomb? Is it going to be the back of sight? Yes, good choice, but Luki still picks up Marcellus. Now he's looking for Dennis the Menace. Smoke's now being thrown out there on the bomb side, but it is the Molotov and the nade that barely affects Dennis. But as we do see Luki, he's looking at the high ground. He may not anticipate Dennis to be here. It will be Dennis to secure the victory. But I'm very surprised to note that Luki was so 100% focused that that player is going to be in the tower position.
So good there. Right now, this is working out brilliantly. Apeks finally getting around back, and if they can get one more out of this, if they can actually win a consecutive round and become a little bit more stable, they know they've got that CT economy on the ropes. It's a rebuy coming through from AGF here. AWP back out for Crystal. That's what I was saying. TMB does not seem confident about picking up that sniper, despite the role. You know, that was what he sort of took at the latter end of his AGF sort of time before the swap. And yeah, it seems like he's not as safe as we might have thought with that AWP. So into the hands of Christo it goes this time. But Ivy control. TMB pressing the matter, at least getting some good control. But it's the rest of the T side heading right round to the B bomb site. They have Lonesome Lukey to hold this spot. And even with a lesser buy round, for example, Gru's on pistols, hitting the B bomb site like this could be the perfect way to get through. They've got the defenses. TMB has the entry.
Oh, looking very good here for Apeks thus far. However, Christo still holds the line. Yes, the bomb plane comes in, but the players of Apeks will need to get in as close as possible to get a few of these kills, especially someone like Russ. As we do see Russ gets the frag here, and Christo the second one on Frostlev. Alrighty then, it suddenly becomes a doable 1v1 Dennis. He's got the experience to go up against a player like TMB, but will he succeed? The problem for TMB is that he does not have the kit, so he needs to move up quick. Dennis, is he aware of it? TMB moves in, and Dennis comes out on top.
Beautiful here. This is really good to see from Apeks, making sure they are not running away with anything so far on the side of AGF, and you can see now money is broken. An eco round to come and a great opportunity for Apeks to close out the scoreline, tie things up nice and early, and ensure that right now it's going to be a closer start to train. We know that the games between SJ, while particularly going to all three maps, were not as close as some of those maps definitely expect to be, especially maps like Nuke and Train, where seeing 16-6s, 16-7s, it's a rarity for some of these maps. Whereas the feeling of this game, the closeness that it's already delivering for us, might be a sign of what is to come. But Apeks seeming comfortable right now, and at least performing on their T side. That was pretty much how we knew that SJ were going to win out on Train. Once they gathered 9 rounds on that T side, that's when you know a side is comfortable with this map. And Apeks, they're looking to do the same.
1-4 is looking very likely unless those pistols got something to say about it. And I mean, they're dealing damage. A few good kills being picked up. Truth, though, is he aware of the incoming player from his left-hand side? He's not aware of his right-hand side. Christo with his, and now it's Lonesome Grus in the 1v1. Another clutch scenario, incredibly close between the two teams. And Christo's got the angle to secure 4 kills in this round. AGF with an incredible pistol round win. It was a stack on the A bomb site, sure, but even in a stacked environment like this, you're not expecting the round win for AGF. Some damage, sure, but not the win.
Beautiful. AGF, that's a really good round to win, because look at what it does now to the economy. Just by taking that eco, AGF have been buffed completely in their own bank, but look what it does to destroy Apeks. They've got nothing left in terms of this economy, so it has to be an eco round right now, and unfortunately, pistols is all they can display. Even Truth buying down that Kevlar as well, his money not particularly as stacked as the rest of the side, and AGF, this could do wonders for their round gain early in this one. Netric peeking close, but does get lucky. The headshot lands onto Truth. And it seems like Apeks, whilst they're trying to overwhelm the site, it will not make a difference. No casualties so far for AGF, and none at all. That's a great eco round for them. 6-3, money stabilizing itself, and Apeks even troubled. And what will have to be another eco round, most likely. Players like Truth and Dennis, not comfortable to buy here.
Yeah, that's true. The players simply don't have enough money to properly reinvest here, so they will get some of the upgraded pistols out, as well as some utility. The interesting thing is that even around like this, maybe these pistols can come up huge. We just saw earlier what AGF managed to accomplish with their own eco. Let's see if Apeks can do something of a similar note. And if there's a bomb site you want to commit to in a round like this, I mean, the beam bomb site is the perfect option. It allows you to At the very least, get the bomb planted. But second of all, the important thing is that you keep moving forward. Get as close as possible between the extremities, towards CD spawn, towards connector. Make sure those players have a difficult time ahead of them. And you can already see that a player like Luki is very much aware what sort of investment the Apeks players have and what kind of idea they'll go for. They're really committing to the B-bomb side. You can already see Netric in a prime position. Gets the frag here in Akez. Now with that bomb being planted, AGF can use the numbers to their advantage.
Oh, this time in the retake, it's all down to Dennis. AGF not scared to let that bomb go down, knowing they've got the retake advantage in their favor. But Dennis, he is trying to be a nuisance. He'll hear the footsteps. Getting away with it, but still, Dennis, that is perfect. Finding at least a first. And so far, so good, as the defuse will come through for AGF. They will get away with the round. Somehow, Dennis still alive. Finally does fall. But AGF making round number 7. A solid retake there for them. Getting away with a victory and further extending the scoreline here on Train to the point where confidence is restored for the CT side for AGF. They've got past that 6 rounds against SJ, and with so many still left to play, the likelihood is that they'll at least secure one more to make it 8.
Yes, this is going to be a scenario where AGF in a prime position to get those 8 rounds. But Apeks, that changeup is here. Marcellus with the AWP. Very nice way to kick things off. And Marcellus, the Molotov, he evades it. But he has lost a lot of HP. It's not going to be a big of a deal for an Opper, but that is quite big. Oh, speaking of things being big, look at the advancement coming in from the AGF players. They have pushed up all the way through the B-bomb site. However, in this A-side commitment, I'm not sure if they'll have any success because AGF, they've been smoked off from the angles. They can't really commit here except for Lonesome Luki. Maybe he'll be the one to at least get 1 or maybe 2 frags to put AGF in a winnable spot. But his teammates, they're dying way too rapidly here on the A side. Frostlev chimes in, so does Luki. Frostlev looks for more, and it's suddenly a 2v2 on the board.
Oh, Luki again coming for the cleanup crew. Janitor squad there as they find an ace between them here in this one. 3 kills for Frost left, 2 there for Luki. A very nice round there from AGF, and it seems like Apeks right now are having troubles finishing the rounds. The opening site takes actually look really good on the side of Apeks, but it's the longevity and the survival time in the rounds that currently is failing them. And like we said, the confidence is there for AGF. They do guarantee their 8th round. 4 in a row so far as well, but a rebuy to come from the T side. They're at max round loss bonus after this one if they do lose it, but money is starting to generate in their favor. So AKs to come, plenty of utility, even at Galil for Marcellius, but it is backing down onto the Galil to guarantee the full set of nades. But still, AGF, statistically with the way this is going, should have a great chance to reach double digits in this first half. They're showing a much stronger CT side than what we saw against SJ.
Yes. This is where AGF are looking much better on the CT side of Train. And yeah, when you compare it to SJ Gaming, they're looking a lot more competitive. And well, oh, this is not the right round for them whatsoever. Dennis, Marcellius, great frags being picked up. Luki, however, does get 2 in quick succession, but you can already see the same game plan coming in. The one player that was on the B-bomb side is coming in with a big flank, but he's got the AWP, not the best weapon in that scenario. And Lonesome Crystal as well, you get very overwhelmed. Uh-oh, that is some miscommunication. Truth in the middle of open.
Oh, the angle was spotted down Ivy as well. I think their Pop Dog's still safe for now. Christo needs to be careful. Oh, the timing is good, but not good enough. Dennis, though, still gets the kill. And all down to TMB again. A bit of a ropey display from him on the AWPs, but this time Dennis gets the job done, finds the victory, and keeps Apeks in the game. 8-4. Money not great for AGF either. Despite 4 rounds won in a row, they were still pretty expensive. Just a couple of players surviving on the majority of those rounds. A little tech pause to get the coach in the server, of course. But Apeks, not too bad now here. 4 rounds on the board and a breakage of the economy for AGF, they can at least make this first half look a little closer. 5 rounds is attainable.
Yes, especially now that a team like AGF, they're not in the best economical state, so they might consider going for this, one simple eco. So Apeks have got the best possible scenario to secure those 5 rounds. However, I see that they're not in the best state economically, and I thought they might consider going for the one simple eco, but they considered to reinvest here. I'd say this is a peculiar choice because if AGF fail here, the next round is going to have to be another eco. So the potential is there for Apeks to sit on an 8-6 scoreline. Now that's going to be a bit too much, and that is that's not Face It. This is real life here. AGF, you've messed up big time. That is Marcellus with the first opener. I mean, fair enough. He did kill the player that was knifed, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's definitely a deal right now for Apeks because they might be on the brink of victory.
Yeah, luckily it was the low player and an AWP as well. You say it's not too bad. AWP's a one-shot anyway, so we could say he's in the same position. But oh, Frostlef, he tried to play smart, he tried to play sneaky, but not this time. Read very well there by Akez. MB in that Ivy spot again, does tag onto Dennis. Some great damage to be inflicted, but it is down to a 5-on-2, so more than not a save to come through most likely. TMB does find at least a frag, denies the AWP as well, and with a couple of players tagged here as well, might be a chance for TMB to do a little bit more exit damage, but it is a save overall. And Apeks, they get round number 5. They do what is necessary as they find themselves a much better run of form here on this one. And with money broke again, there is a real chance that Apeks can push towards a very good number in this half. 8-7 would still be on the table given the scenario.
I mean, for Apeks, this is turning out to be very good for them. This is turning out to be a scenario where, yeah, this 8-5 scoreline could potentially turn into an 8-6. So 6 rounds on the T side of train, that is a very good scoreline. Absolutely. So Apeks could be very happy of what they can accomplish. It's turning out to be quite tiresome for AGF. Here, no investment. Like I said earlier, they just simply don't have enough money to go for the reinvestment, so they're simply going to have to go for... Okay, that is interesting. They're going for another force by AGF.
Weird decision, especially knowing the fact that they lose this round, they pretty much give up an 8-7 confirmed with no money going into the final round, so it's a really risky decision. Although if it works, then yeah, sure, it works, but it doesn't work, unfortunately. And it's a very quick cleanup that leaves Lukey isolated, so that's almost confirmed 8-7, which for Apeks, you're laughing all the way to the bank for 8-7 on a T side of train.
Oh, this is turning out to be just amazing for Apeks. I'm not really sure why AGF just kept on force buying here at the very end, because they've absolutely killed their economy. It wasn't Apeks, it was themselves to blame for this. Very interesting that this is the scenario we've come to. AGF last round of the first half, and they absolutely need to go for the purchase, but that purchase, it's just going to be so bad. It's going to be really weak. It's going to be pistols for almost everyone. Maybe someone can get a SMG out if they want to. But it's very interesting to see that, these last few rounds come in and AGF just, kept on force buying and force buying and force buying.
It's definitely a way to kill yourselves off in this first half, unfortunately. Seeming like we will be seeing more than likely an 8-7 here. 9-6 in the other game, though. They are currently playing on the map of Inferno. SJ leading 9-6 in that other bracket, of course. That's the winner's game currently ongoing. So we're about the same point in the map coming into this position. Final round for this half, of course. And AGF, they'd love to replicate that scoreline and hit that 9th point, but with the pistols they've got in hand, it does seem very unlikely. And yeah, it's unfortunate it's just more confusing, the method of approach they took to these past couple of rounds. But Apeks this time, they are walking into at least a little bit more of a well-protected B bomb site, and with Desert Eagles in these kind of angles, I would not write them out in these pesky positions, but Truth definitely will. So with the first player dead, Lukey will return at least a frag, and Groose keeping the man advantage. But there we go, it's the range that really cucks AGF out of this one. Marcelius can just sit back with that AWP, nice and simple.
Yes, this is where it's going to be the end here for AGF. We can see that Marcellus and Aka is just in a prime position to win this one. No defuse skid means they can barely try to even defuse the bomb. It is Aka's in a prime position to eliminate Frost, and I love this as well. Molotov deployed, but Aka's just going to go for the commitment here, get the final 2, and it will be a victory here for Apeks. 8-7. This is, again, a tremendous scoreline for them, even though AGF, at one point, it was looking so good for them. They start to run away with this first half, but then Apeks managed to pick up the last 4 rounds in a row, and you have to admit, an 8-7 scoreline such as this, Apeks are looking tremendously strong.
This is a really good finish here for Apeks, especially going into the CT side. So far, this is a really good performance right now, especially knowing that AGF did really falter against SJ on that T side as well. So maybe there is a sweet opportunity for a comeback here for the Norwegians. But AGF this time, a very, very default pistol style approach here. Very uncommon to see, actually, where you do split up in a pistol round. But we'll see if this can actually find them any sort of success moving into the later stages of this round. Of course, they aren't scared to run down the clock in this type of position. Diffuse kit on Akez, though, so time won't be any sort of problem on the side of Apeks. But again, just for a map like Train, very uncommon to see this style of pistol round. It's almost like if you don't see an A-sided rush on Mirage T-side, it's like the same here for Train. It's either a full Ivy commit or a full B-side commit. This default execution feels very odd for AGF, but it might just work out.
Well, it is going to be commitment here on the A-bomb set from AGF and Apeks. They just scored the first frag, and Truth in prime position definitely spots out a few individuals, so now he knows what's going on. Remember, Marcelius is still alive, and Dennis is yet to reveal his position, so Apeks is looking incredibly strong to win the first pistol, as well, the second half pistol, and it is going to be an 8-8 scoreline. Apeks looking incredibly strong, and if you wanted to have a perfect start, a pistol round with all 4 players surviving is definitely on the agenda. As for AGF, yeah, no investment here. Thought they might even consider going for another force buy, but no, the simplest of ecos.
Feels like the right way to go about this as well, especially with the rounds starting to become very close now. It's definitely not the right way to be risking the rounds by taking a force buy here. So yeah, I respect it. We will see if they can make anything out of this. See if they can find any sort of success from this position. But of course, bomb plant at most is what they can attain. But again, it's even looking very slim. 4 FAMASs and an AUG for Apeks. It's very rare to see, but I'll take it. They have got the rifles up and ready for the attack. But against a full eco like this, it should be very simple. And a chance for the Norwegians, for I think the first time here in this series, to actually get themselves a little bit of an established lead and stop AGF from being out in front for now. It's a good start to see, and at least if they can confirm the lead before the full rifle round comes in, it gives them that burst of confidence heading into the upcoming rounds. But I do respect the decision from Apeks to play the 4 FAMASs, because in the next round, of course, they know they're most likely playing against rifles. So if they save these weapons like the FAMASs, I'd rather them save FAMASs than save an MP9 and a Scout, for example.
Well, now, there's going to be just a simple commitment here in the bomb set from AGF, and sadly, though, no bomb plant or anything of the sort. Okay, there's 1 kill working out, I suppose. But apart from that, yeah, get this round over with if you're AGF. That was the simple eco. You wanted to finish it as quickly as you could, so that now you could pull out the big guns. AK-47s for all? Actually, interesting. They're going for another eco. I just have such a difficult time anticipating what is AGF going to do in the second half, in the first half as well. And again, they surprised me that they do consider going for another eco.
Yeah, this is a really interesting scenario, actually. something that I believe they did back on, it was either Nuke or Mirage, and yeah, it's a very odd decision, but again, it surefires the economy. It means they have a massive bank balance going into round number 19, but yeah, it's definitely a little bit of more unorthodox way to play this sort of scenario, but hey, if it works, then it works. It'll definitely have an AWP for the next round, we'll tell you that much. The money will stack up on Christo to afford that. And Dennis, good start. Runs through the flames, will lose his life. A little bit overconfident here. Have to be very careful right now as Bruce is doing some serious damage there. TMB took out of the round, but still fighting. And oh, the corner not checked, and Truth now isolated. Oh, an AUG is good in this position, but a single bullet from the Deagle deems him out of the round.
That's the thing from Truth. He is so low in HP. That one Deagle bullet is going to be more than enough to eliminate him. So he needs to be incredibly careful. He is going in towards the side. He is expecting Team B to be here. The problem is, though, he might check his left-hand side, but he may not look what's above him. Uh-oh, that's the problem. TMB comes out on top, and AGF apparently just whipping out the Deagles here, the pistols, was more than enough to deal with the Apeks guys. It's interesting, because these pistols, I mean, they got incredibly close when you think about it. They were in prime position to wrap around there from the Ivy area, as well as from Olaf, and the players from Apeks. Once the distances have been closed in, those Deagles can do so much damage against the Norwegians. And so, it is going to be a 9-9 scoreline.
This is where things start to really become much closer right now here for the side of Apeks. It's a full eco round to come, and AGF seeming like they might be in a great spot to establish their lead back in their favor. I'm pretty sure Christo, oh, he can't see the foot there. I thought he might have just been able to, but not the case. So no information gathered, but now with the force back from Ivy, and knowing that they're against a full eco now, they can just pincer into this bomb site, take it as calmly and more so as cleanly as they would like. A good entry by Lukey, and some plentiful kills coming through. A good tag onto Lukey, but not that it will change the outcome. That is a confirmed 10-9, as AGF will be the first squad to reach double digits.
Yeah, for us at least. Considering that the first best of three as well, neither team managed to reach those 10 rounds, but here AGF finally managed to do so. And I would also presume Team Apeks can also do the exact same thing. Of course, now you'll have just enough money to go for the purchase, and it is going to be a pretty beefy one as well. This is rifles, AWP, lack of utility though, which is a bit of a problem if it comes down to some of these late scenarios where you have to go for a retake as well, and you only have the one kit in the hands of Akez. That could also be a bit problematic. Let's see though, AGF early on going to try to acquire pop dot control. It's very interesting that in today's matchups here, when we got to witness Train being played out and this map as well, what we're not really seeing too much out of the T sides is going for early Ivy presence. It has been, in the late rounds they consider, that's when we're going to pick up Ivy. AGF, not really going for any sort of Ivy presence whatsoever, but I guess the reasoning being is that they have thrown out the smokes over the A-bomb site, and they seem to make, slowly but surely, their way over brown holes.
Yeah, definitely, like you say, the Ivy control has been ignored right now, but it seems like it's the B bomb site actually that's been put under threat. Nobody defending whatsoever here on this B bomb site. Bomb does go down at least, and the trade works out for the CT side. There is a flank on the way as well, but it's Frostlef that tries to push himself up close and personal. Now they're expecting this sort of push here. Flashbang was perfect though, and Netric, he'll find a second along the way. Frostlef dealing further damage, and Marcelius left isolated. All he can do is save. And AGF, this is such a great way to begin. 11 rounds on the board now. Money broken of the CT side. And it seems like AGF have done what's necessary now to begin to establish a nice little barrier between themselves and Apeks.
I mean, it is going to be an 11-9 scoreline, and not only that, with this victory, it again puts Apeks in a compromised position. They can't really go for the purchase. In fact, all they can do is just hope the eco is going to go their way somehow, some way. And with this being an 11-9 scoreline, Yeah, this is where things are getting incredibly close and dangerous. Because the CT side, the problem for the CT side is that if you end up winning the one gun round, that's great and all. But say if you end up losing a gun round, you just always have to go for an eco unless you have maximum lose money bonus, and then you have free players surviving that have saved weapons from the past. Otherwise, it basically is going to be maybe one player saving a gun, the other guy's on an eco. You go into another gun round, you lose that one as well. It is the exact same scenario. So it is quite scary, especially when it's the latter stages of the map that we're talking about, where every single round matters oh so much.
Flashbangs over the top. This round again looking to be pretty default from Apeks, but I would not take away from Marcelius in this position. His AWP, whilst it's the only weapon they do have saved in the round, can still bring damage, and that is what you cannot take away. First frag found, second as well. They cannot give any more to Marcelius, but that is what they do. A triple gathered. Oh, and Groose, look at this. Inside of the smoke, nobody realizes Marcelius. What a shot from him, and Dennis finishing the job. Apeks, of course they win the eco round.
Oh, that is unbelievable. Apeks somehow come out on top. I guess that's the one crucial thing that I kind of glossed over with is that, yeah, Apeks, they've only saved the one weapon, but that one weapon was, of course, the AWP. And it works out so well here for Apeks. What a great way to kick off another round win. However, look at AGF. They're angry. They're furious after losing a round like this. They're very quickly advancing on the A-bomb site, but they seem to be aware of it. But Frostlev and Lukey get a few crusts with two with the MAC-10. And Lukey, though, expecting Marcellus on the other side. The two players need to try and win this one. If you're AGF and Lukey, he's just gonna walk on through. This could be perfect, and it is. He eliminates Marcellus, leaving Akez the 1v2.
Ooh, good denial. Loses no health in that engagement either, which works out absolutely brilliantly for him. Christo now in a 1v1 will dip toward that B site. Makes exactly the right choice here. Does not want to be giving anything further for the side of Apeks. And as that bomb is planted, we'll now confirm exactly what is going on right here. But even so, 10 for Apeks. Still just trying to stick around. Christo on that AWP, though. It's a 1 versus 1 to play. Has a Molotov, but Akez has the smoke. Missed shot by Christo. And with no health depleted, he can spam. The nade didn't even hit him. A ninja defused by Akez.
Oh, that's perfect here. Ninja defuse as well. And again, AGF, I like the fact that they, change up the pace in this round. The change up is there. They try to go for the advancement very quickly in the bomb side. In a 2v2, it's still doable. It's just that at the very end, it comes down to a clutch. And there, it's so hard to say who can come out on top. But we do see right now, it is going to be 11-11. AGF have plenty of money to reinvest considering they got the bomb plan earlier, but you can see how tight this second half has become. It's another advancement of the A-bomb set, a little bit quicker, and from a few different angles as well. So far, so good. Lukey gets the one. Oh, but as Gris with a quick response, but that bomb plant is coming in.
Still in this 4v4, Truth. They find themselves a nice little free frag. Waiting for this round to come through. Molotov in, forcing him out, and still TMB, good denial. Down to a 2v3, but again, it's health that is slacking. Simple shutdown for Akez, and 12-11. Apeks back into the lead. They go 3 consecutive rounds. And what do AGF do here? Their money is up and down. Some players can buy just about, so that is the decision they will make. It's another purchase from this T side.
Yes, it is going to be another reinvestment. I mean, it comes down to the fact that AGF, they're constantly getting into these bomb sites. They're constantly getting the bomb plants, granting them extra money. But you can see that the bank has dwindled quite a bit. This investment, for example, consists of Frostlev and TMB not having no grenades whatsoever, and Lukey having to play on the MAC-10. However, it's a good start. Netric eliminates Truth. Instead of slowing down, look how quickly he moves up here, but he's making a lot of noise, and Marcellus goes down, and suddenly it's a doable round for AGF. They can now quickly just push on the B-bomb site, and there's no one to try and stop them.
So far, so good. A 1v3. This is confirmed now on the side of AGF. One of the closest games that we've had so far here today between AGF and their opponents. Seems like this one will continue to go the distance right now as they spot out Dennis trying to save. They'll try and take the weapons out of his hands. Frostlev, oh, not being baited there. Dennis, good trigger composure. And he might just be able to snatch away with the AWP. But still, 12-12 confirmed. This game is going the distance. It seems closer than it ever felt right now. Despite Apeks getting some decent rounds in a row, it's AGF that keep the tie, and look at the money of that CT side. Sure, they've won 3, but the rounds were made expensive, and you can see that's exactly taking its toll right now.
12-12. Incredibly close affair between both of these squads, but we do see a bit of a pause coming in. It's quite a shame that, Team Apeks, they've managed to win those 3 rounds in a row, sure. But the problem is that they've done so in some very close scenarios. Some clutches had to come in, and maybe it was 1 or 2 players surviving, which of course does not... It gives you a chance to win rounds, but it does not put you in a good economical situation. So again, they're strung for cash. What they can do is just have Dennis on the AWP and the other players upgraded pistols and maybe armor for some. Really not a great scoreline here for either team because it's gone to such a close scenario. Anyone can really come out on top. Sure, Apeks might have to take the loss in this round, but again, they're back with reinvestment and maybe they're again back in a position where they can win a round. It's just so hard to say who can come out on top in this matchup. And for those who are interested, this is, of course, the losers matchup here. So AGF lost their best of 3 against SG Gaming, and Apeks lost their best of 3 against Copenhagen Flames. So the loser of this best of 3 will have to say goodbye to the 9-5 4th iteration of the Dawn stage. So a lot riding on this one. Not just the first map, but all the maps, in fact. We'll have to wait and see which one of these teams can come out on top. It's also interesting that, AGF, they had an amazing run of form at the first 9-5, where they even finished into the semifinals, just ended up losing to Hard Legion. But ever since then, they haven't really replicated the same amount of success at the 9-5s.
Yeah, so unfortunate for AGF. They had a really good run, actually, in that sort of, that sort of tournament, and with the recent news, we probably know why they lost, but hey-ho. Either way, Dennis will open things up in this round. Still, TMB able to find the refrag. The USP comes out to play, though, and it's again another saved AWP that seems to be reaping havoc on the side of Apeks. Frostlev and Netric combined 58 health and a massive dream on their back. It's Deagles, a USP and an AWP that is looking to win this round.
Oh, don't tell me they're going to pull it off, though. Akez losing quite a lot of HP, and Netric just holding the angle, but uh-oh, a certain Dennis around the corner. He's got to be incredibly careful of it. He is quite low on HP, and well, it is Netric to eliminate Dennis. There we go, 2v2. Still a good chance for AGF to pull this one back. Frostlev gets 1, but now look at Truth. He's only armed with a MAC-10, but this could be the perfect weapon to deal with the incoming 2 players. They do get that bomb planted. Oh, Truth spots out the 1. Now he has to realize, once he eliminates him, where could the second guy be?
This angle is so awkward for him as well. Oh, the timing does work out. He's going to play the sneaky game and insta-shutdown. Upgrades into the AK, but not aware of that final position. Tap onto the bomb, expecting the player to be in from heaven, but doesn't matter now as he's burning in the molly. Netric has done enough. That's a really good play, making sure the round was confirmed. 13-12 it is. AGF into the lead they go, despite what could have been a great turnaround there from Apeks in that round. AGF do ride out victors.
Oh, yes, as close as it was, it is still a victory here for AGF. And you have to admit, though, in a scenario as tight such as this, every single round counts. So with AGF picking up that victory as close as it might have been, it's good that they've done it regardless. Although that has left a big dent on their economy, and I think it was also knifed there by one of his teammates. Accidentally, of course, but it's a shame that it's occurred, and let's hope Gruss is not going to die in some unfortunate circumstances, but his teammate True sure does, as he's not expecting Team B to be up close, but Marcelius, very good frag on Netric.
That's a really good return trade. Marcelius and Gruss into low HP as well, which makes life even more difficult. That smoke, though, will dissipate. The first one at least. The second is still in place as they cross through, and still Lukey taking out Dennis. Gruss dies as well, and that leaves such an awkward scenario as Akez losing every teammate around him into a 1v4, and AGF, they might have done what's necessary to guarantee round number 15 here, because money is screwed up for Apeks if they lose this one. And, well, that looks incredibly likely, unfortunately.
And that's a scary situation, isn't it? Again, it's the second half where the rounds matter oh so much. And if you're not able to convert the next few, then, well, that will be the end of Apeks. 14-12 here for AGF, and Apeks, you have just enough money to get those pistols out and armor, but that's about it. Is this the investment they really want to go for? I mean, we saw AGF being in a similar spot and decided, you know what, we will go for the force buy. But Apeks, on the other hand, you can see that, no, they will not. They will go for the simple eco. They will get some upgraded pistols, but that's it. They're more than willing to allow AGF to reach 15.
Simple eco it is. Yeah, this is a really, I wouldn't say bad choice, especially to guarantee the economy, but it's almost granting AGF round number 15 on a golden plate, unfortunately. And, well, bomb is already in the site. 2 kills found, a simple closure of the round. It will be 15-12. And unfortunately, AGF are just a single round away from victory now here in this map. Christo with that AWP getting ready to try and battle these two players. Marcelius being up first, and great info spotted by Christo. I think he knows where both of those are. I think he spotted both anyway. But nevertheless, doesn't matter. 15-12. AGF onto map point, and are looking to at least take victory on their own map pick for once in this series.
Yes, it is going to be AGF in a prime position to pick up their own map, unless they somehow fail the next upcoming rounds. But it's a good thing that they've picked up this one in particular in a very clean manner. After this round is over, you'll notice that there's more than a few players that are sitting about $5,000, $6,000. So they can definitely take a loss in a few rounds, and they'd still have enough money to invest properly if, again, that's the big if they fail at picking up a round win. But of course, Apeks have just enough to get the rifles out. Marcelius on the AWP. This is, of course, they cannot allow themselves to go one step back. They need to keep moving forward. They need to keep themselves in the game, in the map, to pick up their opponent's pick, because suddenly if they do that, it becomes a lot easier to maybe win out the best of 3. But we'll see AGF with a very quick advancement on the B bomb site. Akez does not hold the line. He falls way too quickly.
So much damage, so much Molotov damage. Those nades are absolutely brilliant. Bomb is planted. Truth is most likely dead, and Gruss, he is last man standing. AGF, this time on train, second time round, they actually are successful here.
Ooh, Gruss. He's trying to go for this one. Gets the nice kill here in Christo, but let's be real. It's a 1 versus 3. He does not have a kid, and he has 0 lives remaining. It will be 16-12. AGF managing to close things out on their own map pick.
So far, so good here, of course. Second map will be on the way. A short break to come, as it will be Dust 2 being loaded into the jukebot next. Do not miss this one. An interesting map of Dust 2 to come up. The pick of Apeks, of course. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in around 10 minutes for the start of map number 2.
Initialize booting. These are your targets. You must find, capture and contain them until extraction vehicle arrives. Witnesses are irrelevant. Leave them unharmed if you can. End of a transmission. System online.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, of course, into our second game of the day. It is, of course, the second map of this series, Apeks versus AGF. Knife round to kick off on Dust 2, and it's one of those maps that can really go either way. It's the pick of Apeks, but we know that AGF are ready to get started on this map. Their win percentage on Dust 2 actually is a little bit more impressive than what we saw out of Apeks on Train. They come into this with 16 maps played, 50% win rate. Apeks come in with 17 maps played, 53% win rate. So they pretty much have like the same amount of wins -1. Dust 2 is feeling already very close.
Yeah, but the one big difference I'll say is the level of opponents Apeks has faced. And I'll give him credit to, in that regard, because they've played against some better opponents. Even quite recently, the result of 14-16 against Gambit Youngsters, it's somewhat impressive. But the fact is, they had an 11-4 lead after the first half was over, and they still didn't manage to secure the victory, which is a little bit dissatisfying. But even making sure that a matchup like that is as close as it can be against, Gambit Youngsters that are so proficient in a map like Dust 2, so it is somewhat impressive. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how Apeks can bounce back from Dust 2, because this is really their only chance. If they end up losing this second map, that is going to be the end here for Apeks at the 9-5 Dawn stage. And it would be quite dissatisfying because, even on Train, it was looking oh so good there. The second half, incredibly close. And it does come down to a very tight scoreline. So it could have gone either way. But with AGF now securing the very first one, I'm sure they'll be feeling a bit more confident even heading into this second map.
Yeah, especially knowing as well that, of course, they will have another best of 3 to play after this one as well if they do make it through. So they are going to be needing a very strong run of form here for either of these maps to play. I mean, if you are AGF right now, you don't really want to be going on to Nuke. You don't want to be playing another map here in this series, knowing that you've got to play a further best of 3 after this one potentially as well. So they will be getting ready to try and win out here on Dust 2. CT-sided start for AGF. TMB already taking some early tags of damage as well, but it's Groose that picks up the first frag.
Yeah, really not bad here by Groose's perspective. Frostliv, it does go down, but look at Marcelius and Truth. Good frags being picked up, and suddenly in a 4v2 such as this, they can really just go wherever they want. The B side, the A side, it doesn't really matter, especially now. Lukey actually goes for the aggressive play to eliminate Akes here. That actually puts a spanner in the works here. And Lukey, he's not backing away. In fact, he's looking for more, but he will be punished for his confidence. That is going to be Apeks now securing the package and heading over to the B-bomb site.
Should be a simple victory after this. TMB moving in through the tunnels. No defuse kit on offer as far as we can tell. Not with the previously deceased Lukey anyway. And as TMB swings in, the rest of Apeks will swing out. A simple frag to find. Headshot from Dennis to finish the job. And Apeks, a great pistol round to begin. AGF, unfortunately, not able to get off the mark early. But they do have a force buy to come through. Scouts invested. A rebuy, or a first buy, to come by AGF. We'll see what they can do with this. The pistols and Kevlar backing up the scouts. But more so, it is Apeks looking to take a clean start here. 3-0 on the line if they do get away with this. And that's a great way to begin if you're Marcelius, a triple down A long.
Yeah, already 3 players just eliminated so quickly. I mean, if there were any more defenders on the A-bomb side, it's basically just 2 more players. You can deal with 2 players if it's a 5v2 such as this, but even better for them, the A-bomb side has no defenders remaining, allowing them to get an easy bomb plant as well. Nice nade from TMB, though. Does eliminate Truth there at the very end, but as far as force buys are concerned, this is not a good one. Only the 1 kill is really dissatisfying for a team like AGF. You're at least looking to maybe pick up 2 or 3 kills. I mean, the reason why I go with the forest buy initially is that you have the potential to win the round, and obviously that is off the table So it is going to be a 2-0 start here for Apeks, managing to secure the second round, and better even so. The third round is going to be even easier because the remaining players of Christo, Frost, and Venetric will have no armor and at best some upgraded P250 or deal.
Yeah, it's that here on the side of AGF. Apeks seem to be getting themselves a very good start so far. Always a nice way to begin if you are a T side on Dust 2, knowing that they can get some rounds right out of the gate. But like you say, it's a full eco round here to come. Not too much in terms of success rate so far for the AGF side. Would even like to see maybe that scout given to Lukey with the Kevlar, but he does have the 5-7 to play with. So we'll see if they can make any sort of damage out of this. But again, rinse and repeat on the side of Apeks. A long control to come through, fairly standard, fairly simple. But we'll see if they can make anything from this, and Marcelius does exactly that. Christo, the first player, dead. And that should be really how the rest of the round goes here for Apeks. Yeah, taking down the kills nice and quickly. Marcelius backs away. A free B bomb site for the T side, and a third round confirmed.
Yeah, the third round, it's always a lot easier to confirm than, say, the second one. So it's very nice to see that Apeks are doing a tremendous job of just securing the first few rounds. And now we'll have to focus on the gun round. Team B, though, still around here with the scout. Maybe can deal some damage. Even better to get the kill here. Marcelius and a bit of a lineup. Team B gets himself 2 players alongside his teammates. But overall, it is going to be the end here. 3-0 here for Apeks. They get themselves the good start they were looking for.
That's a really good bit of damage done there as well. Christo will bring out the AWP early, but so will Marcelius. We have a battle of the snipers in round number 4. Both of them willing to invest straight away. With Christo yet to get off the mark with his AWP, that's what he'll be looking for this time. A boost up to short very quickly. We'll see if we can get any sort of frags early in the round, but Truth straight into middle. Already going for the brute force aspect. Molotovs will block off there. Got to come back into middle, and that's where Frostleft can pounce, but they do not expect Truth. So close and ready. A 3v2, but it's Apeks again that make enough of a distraction to secure that B-bomb site.
Perfect. Apeks in prime position now. They have the bomb site. A free V2. And with that Molotov coming in as well, yeah, Christo and Netric, they know how difficult it is to retake in this scenario. So they will just consider to back away from this one. And sometimes that's just the nature of how it is on Dust 2. If you are able to quickly overwhelm the B-bomb site and somehow, in all of that chaos, you have yourself a man advantage, a lot of times the CTs will realize, yeah, it's just not worth it for us. It's just so difficult to retake the B-bomb set at times, and this is just one of them because you have these 2 narrow choke points to push through. The third one if you count tunnels, but the worst thing about the tunnels is that even though it's not as narrow, it is a very long walkway to enter the B-bomb set. So if there's an Opera and Plateau and you don't have a smoke or a flashbang coming in from your teammates, you're basically a goner. So it is very difficult to retake the B-bomb set at times, and well, 4-0. This is a great start here for Apeks, already picking up the first gun round as well, but instead of going for your standard run-of-the-mill eco, AGF realized on the back of our 2 weapons, you know what, we have just enough to get the equipment out, spread out across all our members. So we'll see if this can come back to bite them, because look how confident Marcellus is in this round, and well, he will back away. Does not want to overstay his welcome.
It's the right thing to do here so far. Apeks having a really confident T-side beginning, and the way that they can play so far is to debilitate and shut down AGF. There is a bit of a lineup starting to set up here. The Molotov will force him out of position. Does not have a smoke for this one, but luckily the flashbang was way too good enough there. Blinded everybody inside of tunnels. So Lukey does indeed get out alive. But they've still got Akez lurking inside of middle. They'll make the rotate now here on that T side. Flashbang forces Christo out of position. Smoke in towards CT. It will be another B-sided attack here for the T side. Something that has been proven to pay off this time. And with the trades already made, that leaves low HP Lukey already isolated. And again, it's the B bomb site that falls for AGF.
Yes, time and time again, AGF, well, not time and time, just the past few rounds, honestly, they end up losing the B-bomb site, and they really got to strengthen it somehow. One of the ways would be is to change up the defensive, maybe have a few more players in the bomb site itself, or one of the ways to go about it is just show off some aggression in the tunnels. That is something that a lot of teams end up doing if they want to change things up on that B-side defensive, and maybe AGF will consider something of a similar note. But yes, they will now have lost 5 rounds in a row, but at least all 3 players will get to keep their rifles.
Not too bad of a save here, especially for Christo on that AWP as well. 5 rounds in a row does mean max round loss bonus as well. So players like Frostlef can definitely drop out an M4. Christo can do exactly the same as well. Even Netric, everybody's capable of dropping out those weapons. So that is exactly what they will do here. But a 5-0 start for Apeks is a really good beginning, especially on T side of Dust 2. That's the way they'll be wanting to set up the rest of the half. Keep it clean, keep these rounds running in their favor. But AGF, with that full reinvestment to come, spending plenty of the economy to ensure they have a very competent buy round. We'll see if they can make anything out of this. They've really stacked their mid control setup now. They understand that Apeks move through middle quite often. If they hit a B-sided setup, that flashbang completely misses the target. But it doesn't matter, because Apeks right now, they're going for a little bit more of an A-sided default.
And luckily for them, long is not being contested, so even a guy like Netric, who's just on the AK-47, can hold that position. However, he abandons long control in return to help out his buddies at short, which right now, great. They secure the frag here. They even deal excess damage on Dennis. The problem is, though, Apeks have now, well, not full control of long just yet, but they've very easily made their way out of long house. There's only one player to try and stop him in the form of Christo. He's, of course, the offer, and he's on the side. Dennis, though, nice little peek on Netric to put his team in a 4v4.
Not too bad here. Damage done as well onto Dennis, so that will make it easier to take him down. But no, Christo not aware of Akez. And again, it's the sight that falters. AGF playing such a limited set of sight control that they just, as soon as they lose that first man, they're almost forced into saving. And that's exactly what they're going to do again here, unless they coordinate a short retake. But again, with minimal utility, yeah, it's not even advisable at this point. So it is another save coming through, but AGF cannot keep affording to make these sort of saves. Eventually, they've got to play for a bit more of a retake scenario or just change something to hold these sites, because right now, Apeks, they're not just winning the rounds, but they're getting away with 3, 4, even 5 players kept alive at the end of it. So their money's stacking up. They're safe for a couple of rounds now with those economies they've got saved up. AGF are making life so much more difficult for themselves.
And in that scenario in particular, I mean, it's also AGF that secured the opening frag. The one problem for them is that the player in short, he dies. And so the Opera Christo that was previously positioned over the A-bomb side to overlook long now has to keep a close eye on 2 different angles at the same time. And in that scenario, he thinks, well, chances are the guy from short will commit earlier than the players from long. He moves up towards short, and big problem. The guys from long come in at the worst possible time to eliminate him, and well, Lukey does secure the first, and Christo as well. Surely this is AGF's round to take.
So far, so good here. Finally, AGF looking like they might be able to jump back into the side here and finally win themselves around to kickstart this CT defense. But still, would not count these players of Apeks out yet. They are looking to go for a B-sided take, and I think that's exactly the way to do it if you are a sort of 3-man collective. They know the B site is the easier one to take over. So that's exactly what they will do. And with AGF very limited on the rotates, nobody really holding middle. The only line of defense they have is on the B site itself here. So if those players fall, which luckily TMB lines them up, and that's exactly what they do, AGF this time at least having the protocol in place to keep that B-bomb site safe.
The bomb site is definitely safe, and the round is as well. A perfect one for AGF. Not losing a single player is always a nice little bonus. and also finally shutting down the offensive plays of Apeks. Though in that round, I'll be honest, we did see some peculiar stuff coming in from the side of Apeks. We obviously saw one of the players, I think it was Marcelius, that pushed up B tunnel. A smoke grenade blocking off his vision, so that was something you probably shouldn't do in a proper round. Then we obviously saw the player that was pushing out from long by his lonesome also ended up dying. And so AGF managed to get that round win, but can they convert anymore? Frostlev, what a ballsy move! He just runs up short to eliminate the two guys behind Xbox. It was a great start, but now TMB is down as well.
Oh, this is a really promising round for Apeks now. They can look to punish here as Christo missing the shot now. Truth, I don't know if he saw Lukey inside of middle, but definitely making it much easier to win this one now. 73 health on Lukey, but look at the utility. 2 flashbangs and a HE grenade. That is not enough to keep hold of a round safely on the side of AGF as Akez rips off the head of Lukey, making life much easier for themselves. And once again, Apeks know that the B bomb site is clear. They've killed 2 inside of middle. That's the B site defense. And they walk right in for a free bomb site. AGF are struggling, and despite getting around on the board, it's Apeks that continue to apply the pressure.
Yeah, pressure being applied, and even so, they might win the one round in a very clean manner, AGF. That's great and all, but I thought that second round could also go their way. I mean, initially it works out so well, Frostlev with the early picks, but then once they open up middle, it is again back to the B bomb side, back to basics here for Apeks. They're doing a tremendous job at picking up these rounds. Momentum is also on the side of Apeks. This is turning out to be very, very good for them to secure the 7-1 lead on T side. Does too. Now, I'd say if you're AGF, considering you lost that many rounds, yes, a pause needs to come through. So it is going to be TMB. Yeah, again, with the replay here where we saw Frostlev with the early engagements, Marcellus eliminates Frostlev, and then also TMB dies in middle.
Definitely the pause is the right thing to do here. Seems like a little bit of a technical pause, though. Hopefully, all is good on the side of Apeks here. Seems like a little bit of a TS issue, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. But, I mean, it just gives AGF a little bit of a break in the play. I mean, that's what they were looking for, just to have some sort of break to get themselves realigned. Would not be surprised if even they went for a tactical timeout here at the end of this pause, just to maybe have some discussion, but no, they'll keep on running. They'll keep on trying to work through this one. Marcelius, I believe, did spot the head on the cross, but it's Apeks this time again into a little bit more of a default. Look at those nades, Groose with the Krieg, a weapon that we very rarely see, but it rears its ugly head up to take out Groose. Oh, sorry, take out Christo.
Oh, that is the perfect way to start off as well. I mean, it goes to show that the Krieg, it has still its own benefits. It may not be used that often, but in the sort of mid to long range engagements, it has its purpose, especially when you're fighting players in some very tight angles. Problem is, though, for AGF, look at them on the side. The A-bomb set has no defenders. Netric has gone for a very smart play, but the problem is, though, the A-bomb side has no one in it as well. So that bomb plan will come in without a doubt. And Groos is still looking for more frags, but that Krieg of his gets himself the third. That is a lot of damage done by just Lonesome Groos with a weapon that has definitely served its purpose in the olden days, but now seems to be just a way to show off maybe some bad manners. Groos still holds middle, and they can't even get close to the bomb site itself. This is just tremendous.
This is so good right now from Apeks. They are punishing more than right now AGF could ever imagine. It's economy that's on the ropes again. It's the mental fortitude of AGF that is surely taking a beating right here. With Apeks already having so many rounds on this T side, they will lose out there. TMB not able to grab the Krieg, but does get himself at least a frag. However, here we go. Right now, AGF are starting to struggle. A pause finally comes through. A little bit of a break in play. An AWP I saw was purchased for Christo. But they've really got to turn something around here. Or Apeks very quickly are fast-tracking themselves to double digits and almost making this T side look very professional.
Turning out to be just that, a professional T side without really making too many mistakes. That was the one round, remember, where we saw some, aggression coming in from the side of Apex, and it just was all over the place. But apart from that one round, I mean, they've been able to deal with this first half tremendously well. Surely there's still some rounds remaining, but the fact that we are already at the 1-8 scoreline, that is already a massive achievement. Can they get even more than that? Well, the way they've been playing so far, absolutely. Not nay, though. Dealing some damage here on Truth, but again, it's nothing of great significance. As it's a bit more problematic that someone like TMB, the lonesome defender on the bomb side, alongside his buddy, has been softened up to 48.
Some nice early damage inflicted here, but again, it's AGF with the utility. They almost need to retain a lot of this utility to stop Apeks to actually get into these bomb sites. Because right now, with the rounds that we've witnessed and the rounds that we've seen, it is making it so difficult for AGF to hold these sites for the lack of utility they've got here. And finally, it seems to be used in the right way. Christo backs away, keeps himself safe. Right now, not crossed over to the site, but Akez, that's an entry. TMB luckily returning fire. So back to a 4v4 and a great lineup there by Christo. Finally, AGF this late in the round have sealed themselves a great advantage.
Oh, this is perfect. Always nice to see something going the way of AGF. However, right now, there's going to be a lot of pressure on TMB's shoulders. 30 seconds. Oh, what a powerful grenade. They just seem to be so aware that he's in that position, and now he's got the backup as well. Dennis, uh-oh, that is some unlucky timing. 20 seconds right now. Apeks really got to commit to the bomb site. So far, so good. Cruz gets one. Frost left plucks Cruz, but now with 10 seconds, they're wasting valuable time. But I think they have just enough to get on the bomb site itself.
It's going to be close. The health is a real factor. Netric on the flank might just be in the best of spots, although, no, Marcelius, he picks off the first, and look at him, he's going for the second as well. Oh, the head of Dennis not yet checked, and Marcelius comes out to play. 9-1 for Apeks as they are rearing toward double digits. And what a T-sided performance from these guys. They are really starting to make AGF look like a very scary asset right now, because they are showing very little here on Dust 2.
Oh, even in that round as well, that was, again, one of the closer scenarios we've witnessed. Maybe a potential victory for AGF, but it just seems to be capitulating here in Dust 2. It's not looking good whatsoever. It is a bloody sight to behold, and Truth already getting himself free. Oh boy. Double digits. That's the only way to go about things. Apeks will be sitting comfortably on 10 rounds in the first half, and with 10 rounds already going their way, they almost won the second map as well.
Oh, this is so good. Such a quick round as well. AGF taking, of course, that eco, but I mean, just look at the players on that AGF side. Sure, you've got Dennis on 4 frags and Akez on 5 for that T side, but you look at AGF and nobody is anywhere close to some of these performers on, like, say, Marcelius, a single frag for Netric as well. Just proving right now that, Apeks are leading in more ways than one. Molotov down. Netric did get vision of that first player, but not a lot he can do yet. This time, though, gets that entry. That's what they needed. A first kill found, and finally, an early advantage for AGF. Although the flashes are good, and Akez, he's putting that pressure on to just keep them trapped inside of long here.
Oh, we've seen these advantageous positions in the past. Will this be the one they can actually convert? That's what we want to see out of Team AGF. 5v2. Bit of a boost. Oh, but of course now they'll expect the positioning of Dennis as well. It's interesting though that AGF, I mean, they've managed to win their first round also on the back of all 5 players surviving. And it looks like they'll repeat the 12th round victory in a similar manner. Well, okay, the one player goes down, but most importantly, it's a round victory for AGF. I don't think it's a secret to say that AGF, if you want to remain in this second half as well, they got to pick up the remaining 3.
Oh, for certain. They really need to turn this around if they wish to stick around here in this one. I've just seen the scoreline as well for SJ. They are battering Copenhagen Flames right now. They won the first map nice and easily with a, I think it was a 16-9, I believe, or 16-9. Now they're 13-2 up on Vertigo, so they are breezing through the bracket, it seems. And Apeks, well, they're breezing through this map, but we've got a third on the way if necessary, unless AGF can pick up the slack here in this one. A tag onto TMB early, but again, it's Apeks that are just slowing things down and ultimately playing for that map control before they make their decision.
As of now, map control seems to be the right call here for a team like Apeks. They don't have to really go out for a straight up push just yet. Remember, they have weaponry like the AWP in the hands of Marcellus. They also have the utility. I understand if you want to go for a faster play if you're lacking in terms of utility, but not a team like Apeks. That is not the case whatsoever. But it's 55 seconds on the clock. They will have to commit to one of the bomb sites at one point. 4 players are already at the short position. You also have a guy in the lower tunnels. But it is going to be Apeks looking very likely to commit on the A side. They have the smoke grenades out and ready. They've already been deployed here on the bomb site as well. And of course, they can try to cross safely onto the side. Cristo, that's a lot of damage being inflicted. And Cristo holding the line, waiting for the players to appear in his crosshairs. Now a few of them will try to cross. The flashbangs are oh so precise. It's a shame that AGF don't have a single player on the bomb site itself, because right now it is going to be a 5v5 retake.
Oh, this is so rare to see in a rifle round like this, but the bomb site has been compromised. They've got a player holding close on short. They've got players on the site. Those nades ineffective. And with the way that Apeks is set up right now, it makes it so difficult to retake, as the Truth even gets a knife in the back there. We don't see it, of course, but it's a capitulation of the round. 11 on the board for Apeks and AGF. They're just on a slow decline, it seems. It seems irreversible at this point, and Apeks are on their way to a very quick victory, it seems.
Yeah, very quick one indeed here on the second map. The first one definitely was a lot closer. Even by taking a look at the scoreboard itself, it was a 16-12 win for AGF. This second map, nothing like it. It's just looking like Apeks, or a team that's just head and shoulders above a team like AGF. Early on, they will consider going for some long control, and so far so good. You have a player like Cruz that's moving in very quickly, but Cristo will catch him off guard. So that's again one of the rounds in which AGF have that good start. The question is, can they convert it?
Oh, they need to at this point. They really need to. AGF are on the precipice of being kicked out of this map, and Marcellus, that's a great way to go about it. Oh, the timing is perfect for AGF here. But is it perfect for AGF? Or is it perfect for Apeks in this position? They still think it's the A bomb site they're attacking right now, but no, it's TMB that runs into trouble. Lukey allows them to cross, so he will have a tunnel's flank, and a very quick one at that, but it is still the B site compromised, and they know of the flank already.
Oh boy. Bomb plan yet again on the B bomb side. It's a 2v3. You've got Cristo, you've got Frostlev. Just the 2 players really trying to go for this. Oh, it's going to be incredibly difficult. They're not going to use the gap to their advantage. There's nothing to see through it. So all they can hope though is to try and go for this one. Really, I know it sounds very much a bad idea in a 2v3, but even though they try, it doesn't matter. Akes secures the final few, and Apeks now just also on the brink of just securing 13 rounds here in the first half. That is a lot of rounds. I know they ended up losing to the team Gambit Youngsters whilst having that substantial lead, but AGF are no Gambit Youngsters.
Oh, for certain. This is where things really start to take shape right now for Apeks. I mean, they are ultimately dominating on a higher degree than whatever AGF are outputting. Look at this from Marcellus. A double down long and absolute shutdown of the side of AGF, and they do return 1 kill. TMB with the scout comes up big for a second refrag and maybe a third as well here, as that pistol will do the damage. Finally, somebody turning up on the side of AGF. Now, DMV has been allowed to live for far too long, but still nobody killing him off. And it seems like at least at the end of the half, they'll get a round back to secure a third.
That seems to be the one way to go about it, that maybe that third round goes the way of AGF, and it does. Okay, so it's still a dominating performance from Apeks. That's the one thing we have to keep an attention on. You know, it has a 12-3 scoreline. Apeks just a few rounds away from securing victory. If they somehow want to make this one competitive, I mean, AGF would have to win the pistol, the upcoming gun round as well. Maybe then they can start climbing their way back into this one. Especially this being those two, they've got a chance of doing so. But let's be real, with a scoreline being as daunting as this here, I have no idea how you're supposed to have the mental fortitude to even consider yourself being in a winnable position whilst you still have just 3 rounds on the T side of this too.
Oh, for certain. This is such a difficult position to come back from here. As at the sort of side of AGF right now, they almost need, you know, a little bit more of a miracle, let's say, to be able to get through a position like this. But again, we shall see how this takes place. Seems like a little bit more of a technical timeout. Again, it's TeamSpeak that is having the issues. Hopefully, we'll get things live as quickly as we can, but there we go. Apeks on that CT side, a single round required essentially to write off a minimum of 15-3 here. Pistol round for Apeks would really guide them towards success and potentially a very quick map here on Dust 2. And almost, you know, we can start that conversation about Nuke as the decider, but yeah, this is a really open game for Apeks to get back into the series, but it seems like we will have a bit more of an extended pause.
Yeah, we already have the potential to talk about a map like Nuke, considering where this game is heading at. And I'd say on a map like Nuke, the scary thing is that Apeks, they used to be a team that would play quite a fair amount of Nuke in the past, in the olden days especially, before having Dennis in the roster. And here, especially going up against a team like AGF, they probably will feel pretty good about themselves. They can potentially win this map. Surely, the win rate isn't that good any longer. I mean, it is 47%, but it's also due to the amount of maps they played. They played loads, and I mean loads of this new matchup. Quite recently, they had somewhat of a better run of form, winning against some of the lesser teams, but they did quite recently, just today, they did end up losing to Copenhagen Flames on it, as well as to Forza 16-7. So I don't know, it will be quite hard to say once we do get to that Nuke map how well Apeks can perform, but as of now, I would presume it is going to be to a much better standard than when they went up against a team like Copenhagen Flames.
Oh, for certain, yeah, this is looking at least like a higher level of play at this position right now. Seems like Copenhagen Flames, speaking of the devil, are actually keeping themselves in Nuke a little longer than we might have expected. But that's a series, oh, sorry, in Vertigo, but that's a series that I never thought would go that way. After Copenhagen Flames sort of took out Apeks 2-0, sure, the games were close, but SJ have come with some incredible energy right now. They won out on Inferno, their own map pick, and now they're cleaning the floor with Copenhagen Flames on their pick of Vertigo. It's like 14-6 right now. So SJ have really got a point to prove.
Oh, absolutely. SJ right now is a roster that I'm very interested to see them at the Swiss stage, because, I mean, they're now in a position where on the Swiss stage, they could be one of the more dangerous teams playing there. And of course, all you got to do is win 3 best of 3s, and suddenly you're in a position to secure yourself a spot in the playoffs. I mean, AGF was one of those teams that actually did so. So maybe SJ can actually pull off another scenario where it's a team that comes from the Dawn stage, goes to the Swiss stage, wins it out, and then moves on to the playoffs. Right now, though, it is still very much the pistol round here of the second half, and already AGF have lost 2 players without much of a response. I say that, Luki and Team B do pick up a few.
Good start so far, at least for the side of Apeks. They'll back away completely as well. Not scared about giving the site control over to AGF, knowing that they might have the positions ready down long, and Marcelius, a single tap onto the head of TMB that leaves Frostleft now isolated. They get a bomb plant, so they at least can get some AKs in the next round if necessary, but not that they live through this one. 13-3, the defuse to come through for Apeks, and it feels like Dust2 is not sticking around for much longer.
No, doesn't look like it. We're going to be seeing too much of Dust2, especially with Apeks securing the first pistol round here of the second half. It will be, of course, AGF in a position where they don't really have a lot of rounds to work with. So the force spy is one of the options. But remember that they got a bomb plant. So with that bomb plant, they could potentially eco this one out and then go for the purchase. But instead, they'll purchase right here, right now. A few Galils coming in. There's the Mac 10 here for Christo. The other players on some Deagles. Of course, being just on Deagles, that does give them a lot of utility to work with.
It's the one thing they need to overwhelm Apeks here. The utility in this type of round is such a big factor. And it seems like AGF will direct their approach over toward the A bomb site this time. It's a full-on short stack. They've got they've got Akez ready in that corner. Goose is an angle that is very rarely checked in this sort of position. Smokes over the top. Flashbang from Akez could be perfect to allow the players to rotate in. They spot one in CT. There comes the swing, but still a couple of frags to come through. Great damage inflicted, but it's still a 3 versus 3. They get another bomb plant here.
Another bomb plant is always great to get some of that cash rolling, but you can see the Apeks moving very swiftly here. Marcelius, struggling with the spray. Maybe this is a chance for AGF to win a round, but Frostleft, he's been spotted, but Frostleft still comes out on top. It will be AGF picking up a lifeline here. They are not out of this one just yet.
Seems like they're sticking around for a little bit. Nice return there by Frostleft, keeping the side alive, and that is absolutely perfect here. But Apeks, as we get into that sort of force buy territory, it is incredibly risky to see that AGF again are walking maybe into a little bit of a trap. A-Long isn't stacked massively, so they'll be put under a false sense of security. But do need to be careful, Marcelius. There's the first kill found. The scout's already having impact. And right now, this is dangerous. There's a player on car unchecked, and AGF could be about to walk into some bullets right here.
Ooh, Dennis is yet to reveal his position, and it just worked out so well for him. Oh, he is more or less baiting his teammates at this point. No! He doesn't even get a single frag. Dennis! It feels like if he pulls the trigger just a little bit earlier, maybe Apeks are in a much more winnable position. But right now, Akez moved in very quickly. There's a low HP player to deal with. He eliminates Frostleft. Now it's Lonesome Lukey, 4 HP against 2. Fair enough. Oh, okay, AK-47 has been retrieved, so Lukey should not win this aim duel whatsoever. Uh-oh, he might just do it, but not against Marcelius USP. Apeks, they will secure the victory at the end.
Back to winning ways. Apeks, the force buy pays off for them here. They'll get themselves a solid set of victories once again, and still the bomb plant goes down, so it definitely keeps them economically viable here in this round, and they will go for the rebuy here. But 14-4. Essentially, Apeks win this round. We go to 15, and potentially we go to nuke very quickly, but it's AGF that want to keep themselves in the runnings. Lower control taken. B bomb site seems like the objective here for AGF. But unlike Apeks, it's a direct commitment. Whenever they went to the B bomb site, it was through the later stages of the round. It was through the rotates of this side. This time they're seeming a little more dedicated, but no, they're not committing, although Groose does find the early frag.
Nice little pickup here for Groose. But the fact of the matter is, for AGF, that is not the start they're looking for. There's the flashbang coming in. really committing. Ooh, Guru's got to be careful here. Even in that engagement, even though his team is in a very winnable position, does not want to give up that easily. Now 55 seconds on the clock. Yeah, there's only one way to go about things. It is the B-bomb side. Akez. Great pickup here in Luki. They actually don't have the smoke. Well, they do have the smoke, but they haven't really deployed it to block off the vision here with a plateau player and Frostlev and TMB. In fact, Krista will fall as well. So it's very peculiar that they do have the smoke grenades, but they don't throw it down to try and cross safely on the B-bomb side.
Yeah, that's an awkward setup there for AGF. Walked right into their death, unfortunately. And you can see the effect that that does now have. 15-4. Map point for Apeks. Already starting to send us most likely onto Nuke. Desert Eagles, utility, and a few flashbangs along the way. It is nothing close to a convincing setup, though, in AGF. Well, I think we do already guarantee Nuke at this point. But again, they might surprise us. The Desert Eagles, they're pesky weapons to play against. Bruce might be in a bit of trouble, but no. Lands the first frag. That nade will rip into some damage. They line up for Dennis, and a triple for him. There we go.
That is beautiful, and that will be the end here of the second map. 16-4. Apeks managed to dismantle the opposition, and of course, by winning the second map, it will now put us on the third map of Nuke. So guys, you gotta stay tuned for this third and final map of the best of 3 to find out who will go up against the potential winner of SJ Gaming versus Copenhagen Flames.
Initialize booting. These are your targets. You must find, capture and contain them until extraction vehicle arrives. Witnesses are irrelevant. Leave them unharmed if you can. End of a transmission. System online.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into our third and final map of the series. It is Nuke. They decide a necessary once again. AGF back on this map, of course, and we know exactly what happened the last time that we played here with AGF on Nuke. They got smashed 16-6. We'll see if that happens again, but it comes down to Apeks, and after such a good performance on Dust 2, my confidence is definitely with them for this one.
I'd agree. I definitely agree in that sense because you have a team like Apeks who did have that tremendous run of form, right? And for AGF, you're heading into this third map. And in the second map, first of all, you got absolutely demolished. And now the third map, this is also the map when you played against SJ Gaming, was also the map where you got absolutely demolished. So it is going to be rather difficult for them, I'd say. But at least the one saving grace is that in this scenario, it is them starting on the CT side. Now, if we do recall correctly, it was SJ Gaming's CT side that has allowed it to have that 13-2 scoreline. And in that scenario, 13 rounds at the CT side is pretty impressive scoreline to acquire. I would say if you're a team like AGF, you can do the exact same thing. But of course, you're going to need to get that good start. Get that ball rolling as early as possible.
Oh, for certain. They're going to need a really good beginning here. Now, luckily for AGF, Apeks are on a 3-loss streak here on Nuke. But again, it's the opponents they've faced that are arguably the much more difficult one to handle. You're playing the likes of Copenhagen Flames, of Forza, of these better squads, Dignitas they've lost to, but they've beaten the teams they're expected to, your Illuminars, your Scades of the world. So that's, despite a lesser win rate, better results for me. But we'll see where this goes. It's Christo again to kickstart the pistol with that P2000. It's been looking lightning hot all day, and it will continue to do so with a double here in the pistol.
Oh, let's hope it's not going to cool off anytime soon, because AGF will need someone to step up in order to put themselves in a winnable position, not just the very first pistol round, but in the nearby rounds as well of the nearby future. Of course, TMB just holding over at Decon, waiting for the doors to be opened up. Once the doors are open, he'll get valuable information where the players are coming from. In fact, the door should be open right about now. And TMB, looks away, but still gets the kill on Dennis. And now Akez in the prime position to get that bomb planted. Oh, he got lucky. Super lucky. Even better. Gets, electric as well. Spins around to look one for Lukey, but he will not secure that one. And oh boy, Akez, he made it close, all right.
That was some incredible shooting there by Akez in that round, but unfortunately, just not able to make it through all the way. That would have been such a solid set of sort of frags to find if he'd have confirmed that one, but unfortunately, not the case this time. AGF, though, they get a pistol round, they kickstart their CT side, and that's a good way to begin, because now they've got a full buy round to come, but they are facing a force of their own. Apeks, like they did on Dust 2, are back with some rifles here in the second round.
Yeah, some rifles will be invested here. Ooh, that's a powerful nade. Look at Akez. Gross. That is almost 100 points health damage. Luckily for them, though, they're still very much alive here. Frostlove. That is a nice pickup on Marcelius. And Akez, though, going for a bit of a spray, but he does go down to the nade at TMB. So really not a bad start for AGF. He already managed to pick up 2 players. Christo surely has been softened up, but they have not given up outside control just yet. If anything, they're now keeping an incredibly close eye on this position, expecting someone from Apeks to get a little bit closer than usual to, for example, a place like Mini. And TMB is in for a surprise, but there's the repick from Frostlove. Very nice teamwork.
Yeah, they're pincering down these players. They're making sure they can't get away with this. Groose, nice headshot. Expecting maybe a swing from main, but not that it will be able to be prevented. 48 seconds on the clock, so they've still got decent time to retrieve the bomb here for Dennis, but a 1v3. Unfortunately, barely looking winnable as he's spotted out again inside of middle. Still some decent damage done, but yeah, not this time. Lukey to finish the job. A second round for AGF, a little more expensive, but it does force Apeks now down onto an eco.
Yeah, fair enough. This round was a little bit more expensive, but in the whole grand scheme of things, they managed to win against a force buy. And that force buy, especially now, the force buys are so deadly because you can expect rifles in the second round, which was the exact same case here. There were Galils, there were AKs. So go up against such a purchase, it's never easy. And AGF, not only do they manage to win the round, but they also do so with, I'd say, minimal casualties, because sometimes those rounds could go to a 2v2 or even a 2v1. So it's good to see that AGF still managed to keep the brunt of the players alive. And most importantly, with this victory now, it's not going to be smooth sailing. As you can see, Apeks, they're more than willing to reinvest in this round and again be a thorn in the side of AGF. AGF could make potentially some mistakes here. They might consider, oh, third round, absolutely it has to be an eco. It has to be for us a great opportunity to maybe push up a bit more aggressive than usual. They get a few easy kills, but now, if they'll do something like that, they will be in for a nasty surprise.
This is one of them rounds where you just do not expect your opponents to go for that buy round. So AGF are on a shock right now if they run into this sort of purchase. Luckily, again, not playing any sort of aggro setups or pushing into Squeaky or just trying to take hold of the full control of this back of A site. So luckily they'll just sit back and wait. So no AKs to pounce on them just yet. But for the side of Apeks, they'll start to move down toward that A bomb site. Marcelius waiting for the peak. The rest of the squad, though, just sitting back, running down the clock, not afraid of allowing AGF to now use up all their utility. Then they'll make the push. They've got plenty of time on the clock, and Marcelius does get the tag, but Groose with an early entry. Christo returns, some damage done across the field.
That is a lot. Look at this, though. Ooh, nice pickup here by Marcelius. True. Great pickup. Frostlift as well. Wow, that is a lot of trait frags going on the A-bomb side. And eventually, the players of Apeks managed to overwhelm it with their, I think it's fair to say, shoddy investment. They had pistols. They had a few rifles sprinkled in, sure, but it was apparently enough for Apeks to win that round. And what impactful victory as well. They have more or less broken the economy of AGF. No reinvestment into the M4s. It's just one FAMAS, pistols, scout. For Apeks, this is another winnable round on the card. Look at how quickly Grust is moving in down the vents, losing quite a bit of HP, but he has now some prime positioning.
Oh, fakes out the door open on the B-bomb site as well. That's going to make life a little bit more tentative here for AGF. Luckily, though, not the case so far. Christo and TMB, some very rapid kills to trade off the damage. Truth, though, nice response. At least able to get one back for his squad. But again, it's those scouts they're facing off against, and that is not going to pay dividends this time. A MAC-10 and a Galil is all they've got to offer, and with Truth still down in the depths of the B-bomb site, I'm pretty sure he does have the bomb with him as well, so maybe there is a chance that they can force out a bomb plant, potentially. Netric does miss the drop down there, so does break his ankles a little bit, but I think he's okay. B site is lost, though. AGF spent too much time worrying about the outside control. They've given up the B bomb site, and more so, given up a plant for a Apeks side that continues to love these force buys, so giving them extra cash is not a good position to be in.
Now that's not okay. Allowing Apeks to be in this position in a post plant and with a bomb plant, that's something that should not have, undergone Lukey. Does secure the frag here in Truth, but now Groose is in a very interesting position because no one seems to be aware of him until he pops the head of Netric. Then all the players can just fully focus towards ramp, and of course now in this round they will have plenty of time to defuse as well. 3-2-1 is going to be the scoreline here for AGF. Now I wonder, a bomb plant has come in for Apeks. Potentially, and probably how it should be, is, a simple eco. They go for the eco here, then they will invest into the real guns. But Apeks, they have been somewhat more unpredictable as of late. But as we'll see, it will be the standard eco. Okay, so it will not be investment into the AK-47s or someone even going for a force buy. It's your standard eco. It's a good opportunity for Apeks to maybe get a bomb plant in, deal some more damage on the CT economy. But for AGF, this is the opportunity they needed. They can actually start building on their recent success and potentially even secure 4 rounds on the CT side of Nuke.
Yeah, this could be a real positive start here for AGF, especially, like you say, against those pistols. The one thing they do have to be careful about, though, is the full ramp push right now. Lukey does get out of that position, not willing to stick around and make that sort of fight. But Apeks, I mean, they were just baiting purely for the information. They are sitting back, trying to exploit AGF in the cleanest of ways possible. Now here comes the A strike, but Christo is prepared. TMB backing up the squeaky door angle as well. You've got players rotating left, right, and center for the AGF side. And like you said, it's a 4th round guaranteed so far on this CT side. A real positive start and a flawless round as well. You can see the money is now very safe here on the side of AGF. It's a real good positive start. They've got rounds in their favor. They've got economy stacked up as well. And they've not even expent into an AWP for Christo. So they've got a reserve that will be able to afford a full buy if things go a little wrong. But it's a real good start for AGF.
Ooh, okay, this is interesting where AGF finally starting to build up on some of that momentum they acquired. And now I'm really interested if they can actually string a few more rounds together. Maybe have a similar run of form just like Apeks did on the T side of this too. Well, Frostlev, okay, he's so ready for the incoming push from Marcellus, but the problem is it's only Lonesome Marcellus. He has no backup whatsoever. So for Frostlev, he could just get the kill and escape back to safety. This is not part of the agenda for Apeks, but that is a great pickup. Akez has eliminated Christo, and Akez now is getting dangerously close towards Hell.
Especially in this position, they've got to be very careful here. First player dead and main control established. Lukey, though, is good for 1, but Frostlev tried to predict the spray. This time will not matter. Lukey now left isolated. That nade will do some decent damage. Second one follows it up, but luckily does not get taken down by the nades. Although, he does make an alternate approach as he flashes his way over what appears to be an A-sided swing. He's going to go for the flank instead, and Truth is not prepared.
Oh, that's so nice. And he still has vision the bomb itself, but Dennis wins out the duel. Once again, it requires the expertise of Dennis to win out a clutch for Apeks. I believe this is his 3rd, or maybe, yeah, I think this is his 3rd clutch here of the day against the side of AGF. So very nice to see Dennis step up here when it matters most, because it could have very easily been a 5-1 scoreline, and now they've avoided a disastrous start. At least now, it's 4-2. It's still a relatively even scoreline. Yes, there's the 2-round difference. Apeks can very easily minimize it if they secure round number 7. We'll see the AWP come out here for Christo. Let's see if he'll find any success. The players from Apeks do have a lot of presence in the lobby, and from there on out, it looks like it's just 1 step forward towards trophy, and from there towards ramp. Lonesome Luke is holding his ground. Oh my gosh, Truth just walks past through the smoke. What? Oh, that's because he is lagged out? No!
Oh,
no way! No! Oh my...
What do they do here? Yeah, that should be a reset here at this point.
That's so dissatisfying. I mean, I was so happy. I was so happy the Truth is taking such a ballsy move to just walk out through the smoke. But apparently it was him lagging out. So it's not as ballsy or not as smart as I thought it was. For Apeks, yeah, this is a little bit dissatisfying, but do you see the players still committing on the B-bomb side? TMB, however, will hide behind the reactor core to get himself through. That bomb has been dropped, and looks like Apeks have eventually taken over the B-bomb side. There is going to be a bomb planted by the looks of things. At least get some extra money. Oh, Frostlev, though, he's going to make sure no extra money goes their way, and it will be AGF with a victory.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Seems like Truth is back in as well. I don't even think he's lagged out here, unless maybe he has. He's still not moving. No tactical timeout has yet been called, though. There we go. Now a pause does get put into place. Apeks, yeah, just calling that technical out. He hasn't disconnected, though, which is the weird part, considering how long we've actually been sat with him DC'd now. So maybe he is back, or maybe checking something. But yeah, that, like you said, as soon as you saw him pushing through that smoke, it's like, no way. But then you're like, ah, he's not moving at all. That's,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, because it was like an ingenious play because it is so unexpected. You know, what are the odds someone decides to just push off through smoke like that? And in the case of, you know, the player who actually does it, and he just does it at the perfect timing as well, just as I think it was Lukey with the MP9 that who considered that, you know, I'm going to change up my angle just a bit. And yeah, I think he himself was a little bit confused to notice that, wait a minute, there's a player right in front of me. Something's not right. But yes, it looks like it has been a bit of a tech issue here for the Apeks boys. Let's hope that's going to get fixed as soon as possible. And we can continue on with this matchup. And it's already getting a lot more interesting than Dust 2, for example. Because in Dust 2, it basically was just Apeks running away with this one. Whereas here, we at least have a 5-2 scoreline. And AGF are finally getting back in the game.
I mean, scarily, they've already got more rounds here on Nuke than they had on the entirety of Dust 2, so they're making progress already, which is the great thing. But for AGF, they have got a chance right now to really extend their run of play. 6-2 would be the scoreline on the board that would be necessary, would be acquired if AGF did take this one, but it's outside control and a barrage of nades to do some great damage on to Apeks to start. Christo there protecting his teammate as well. And that does start very nicely here for AGF with an early entry and some extra damage in there as well. We'll see how it goes. But Frostlev spots out the boost. Knows players are still in outside. And it should be a simple round here for AGF. Maximum, I'd say, one casualty here if Frostlev over peaks. But apart from that, they've not really got too many deagles or such. So, well, as I say that, Truth does take out Christo.
Oh, TMB drops the bomb carrier as well. Is going to go for a bit of a lengthier spray to eliminate Truth. And overall, it's turning out to be clean around here for AGF. Just losing the one player, and of course, Frostlev and TMB being softened up just a little bit. Overall, it's turning out to be a very nice scoreline for AGF. 6 rounds of, well, will almost be acquired. On the CD side of Nuke, I really want to see where they can build from this. Of course, Apeks now will have plenty of money to reinvest, but this is not the side of AGF I expected to witness. I thought that Apeks, just like from the previous map, they'll have the momentum to just start running away with this matchup. But not the case. AGF have come out swinging.
Perfect so far. It's a real solid CT performance, and I think especially given what we saw on Dust 2 from AGF, many teams in that position would almost lose the energy and lose the fight to go into a third map, especially such a stressful map like Nuke, where you've got to be on point, 90% of the time, if not more. But luckily, AGF, they seem to have bounced back already. A quick break and a quick start to Nuke has put some positive energy back in their favor, and we'll see how far they can extend this. Money isn't great on either side. Whoever loses this round will be on a bit of an eco, but actually, no, AGF are quite solid in terms of Frostlev, TMB, and Netrix. So that's not too bad, but it's Marcelius that opens up the first entry, and that's what Apeks need. They need his AWP back. It was lightning on Dust 2 and Train.
Oh, that's nice to see. Nice to see Marcelius finding impact. Uh-oh, he will be overwhelmed by Netric. Frostlev going for a lengthy spray, and it does go down to Gross. 50 seconds on the clock to very easily just move up. Oh, the A-bomb side. That is exactly what they're going to do. With that kill on Netric, it just makes a lot more sense. 2 players coming in from hell up in heaven. And then you have Dennis from Mini. They have cleared out the bomb site. Lonesome TMB remains, however. But I'd say in a 1v3 such as this, he has limited options. And maybe he has an option to try and save that weapon of his. In fact, he can't even save his life. So that will be a victory here for Apeks. Great start for them into the round. Marcelius picking up an early frag. And from there on out, they managed to successfully take over some ramp control and even take over the A-bomb side without much of a hassle. Great to see that Apeks still have it in them. But what AGF have is money. And with that money, they can reinvest.
Plenty of cash for players like Christo and Frost left. Netric getting the M4 out as well. Unfortunately, 4 players like Lukey and TMB, they're onto Deagles, but that will not change the fact that Christo's AWP is far too powerful. Takes out Truth already. That gives them an early entry and signifies to Apeks that maybe they still have a bit of a buy, and that is exactly the case. Frost left boosted, still fighting, but no. Damage done, no refrag to find. Akez down to a single point of health. The further 2 players tagged up as well, but still. The weapons of AGF, a little bit tentative, but they are playing super safe, not willing to overcommit. This angle could be perfect for TMB, and that it is. A 4 versus 2 that should see the CT side back to winning ways.
It looks like it, especially now. Look at how far apart Dennis and Cruz are. Looks like they'll have to just split on the A-bomb side. Potentially could work out. The problem is, though, is that there's one guy in hell and one guy in heaven. Dennis does eliminate the guy in hell. Are they expecting Garus? They're not. Okay, that's a nice pickup from Garus. 35 seconds on the clock. Will this be the commitment for Mini? It looks like it. Team B has got the off angle and has even got the lineup. That's even better than a simple off angle. That'll be the 7-1 for AGF. Gets a little bit dangerous there at the end, the 2v2. But all in all, it is another victory into the pockets of the CT side. As for Apeks, not really sure how well they're doing in terms of economy. Yeah, it's not great. At least if they get themselves a bomb plant, they have just enough to get that investment rolling, but not now. It's back to the standard eco, with some upgraded armor, of course, and some utility.
Pretty standard eco round for Apeks. They will pick up the pace down ramp, that is for certain. Lukey has backed away, keep himself safe, does not want to overcommit, not with an MP9 unfortunately, but TMB, he's already there to keep his teammates safe on that ramp position there. A triple already found, and it seems like AGF have gotten very comfortable here on Nuke. To say they got absolutely cleaned by SJ in that previous series, they're starting to do the same to Apeks here on this map.
Yeah, it's turning out to be a very convincing affair from AGF, which, again, is something I really didn't expect to witness. This is where you can see the players of AGF are finding their stride. They're actually finding a lot of impact as well. Even though a guy like Netric, in terms of kill, hasn't really been too impactful. He's only got 4 from what we can tell here on the scoreboard. But it's the remaining teammates that have been doing a tremendous job in terms of fragging, and because of it, 8 rounds on the CT side of Nuke is nothing to sneeze at. This is a good scoreline already, and remember, we still have 4 more rounds remaining, so this could very potentially be an 8-7-1 here for Apeks, but I would lean more to the side that a few of those rounds will trickle down to a team like AGF.
Oh, for certain, yeah. I mean, they've set that barrier up of 8 rounds now. They'll be looking to see how far they can extend this in this position. I mean, especially with Apeks being fairly malleable. That nade. Oh, could walk right into it there, and Dennis does exactly that. Plenty of damage done to him, and makes him a softer target for players like TMB in the lower depths of the site, but this time, not getting out alive, but Christo definitely is. Lukey able to upgrade that M4 as well, so he gets away from the MP9 into a much better weapon. Frostleft will wrap in from vents, and they might not be aware of this. The smokes are down, so they think they're protected at this point, but no, that is not the case. Frostleft down in Decon. It's still Apeks yet to commit to a site. They are keeping their options open with Truth on the back of A here. Oh, but not for long.
Yeah, Netric is holding the prime position, and even though Apeks are somewhat out here nearby the lower bomb site, they're not on the site itself. 30 seconds remain. They will have to show us signs of commitment, and Lukey, he's in a prime position to at least get the 1, because once the players make their way out of control room, it's a very awkward angle, and so Lukey should be good to acquire that 1. Frostland is there to help out if necessary. That is, of course, a 9th round going into the way of AGF. Apeks feeling some pressure right now, not having it easy in terms of winning these rounds, and as you can see, the problem is that, yes, 1 round, they have the investment going, they get the AK-47s out, they get the utility out. But once they lose that round, it is back to going on the simple eco, a simple partial investment. And this is a lot of times a problem for the CTs that always need to keep on constantly reinvesting into equipment, thus making their purchases a little bit more expensive. But now it's happening for the T side as well, and TMB does getting himself a few good frags. There was some team damage coming in, but no worries here for AGF. They're doing a tremendous job once again.
Oh, cleaning up again. AGF making sure there is double digits on the board. 4 rounds in a row so far for this CT side. Apeks getting ready for a rebuy. We'll see what they can bring to the table. 5 AKs seems like the motive right now. Plenty of utility. We'll see if they can get away with some sort of victory. Minimum, well, maximum they can achieve is 10-5, but AGF, they won't be wanting to give up that sort of amount. They are pressing for 12. They know it's attainable. That's what they've got in their sights right now. They know they can close out Nuke just by getting a very solid first half performance.
Oh, this is solid as hell. Solid as a rock, if you will. AGF have already acquired 10 rounds on the CT side. It's unbelievable to see them having a huge advantage against a team like Apeks. As we do see right now, there is certain Dennis moving in here through the outside area. His teammates have thrown down the smokes just for him so he could try to cross safely. He'll do just that. But I want to see what the remaining players, the remaining core 4 players will do. Are they entering the A-bomb site? Well, Marcelo has actually secured the frag here on Netric, but they're yet to enter the bomb site itself. There's still some time remaining. They can potentially spread the defense, but uh-oh, TMB, he somehow gets himself a few. There's Frost left chiming in as well, and suddenly the round is falling apart.
Just feels like as soon as Apeks have anything good, AGF just turn it right around, and this time, luckily, Marcelius still keeps the frags ticking over. That Molotov doesn't even land, though. And a swing out by Frostleft that finishes the job. 11-3. AGF finding so many CT-sided rounds here. And it seems like Nuke might be on a one-stop journey into AGF's back pockets right now. But a final round of the first half. 11-4 would be okay for Apeks. Either way, though, it's been a very light T side, especially knowing that the meta these days really sets up 6 rounds for the T side. Apeks feel, well, they definitely are around 50% light in their achievements here on the T side.
Oh, they're looking way too light on this T setup, to be honest. I was expecting a few more rounds to come out, but I don't know, the sort feels like 11-3 is really not a good scoreline. 11-4 potentially could still be doable. But if they somehow allow AGF to even secure that last round as well, it's also going to come down to just them hitting hard in terms of confidence. This is an interesting scenario where the players of Apeks have successfully gone down secret and they're getting close towards the B-bomb site itself, but I don't think there's a single player on the B-bomb site currently. There's a few players that are outside in ramp, there are a few players that are on the A-bomb site, but yeah, as you can see from the minimap, there's not a single soul from the CT side that could potentially try and stop this offense. Yes, there's a few players in ramp right now, but not on the side itself.
This might work out here, although AGF finally switching up their defense. Door has been opened. Frostleft not yet spotted in that position. He could be very, very sneaky here as he swings out for one. Unfortunately, does get traded back, but again, it's still a 4v4. Groose is tagged as well. They've got an incendiary and a HE grenade in this position to be working into the site with. Groose will move up close. Lower health means he has to play a little more safe, but Christo takes out one, goes for the swing, finds a second. Dennis again, the experienced player on this side, having to come up massive, but it leaves it down to Truth. Plenty of time on the bomb, and his position now exposed.
And that's the big problem for Truth. He can't really rotate from that position. He just has to hold it, and with the flashbangs being deployed, he can't see a damn thing. Not to mention, hear a damn thing as well. Oh boy, it will be 12-3. AGF managed to run away with the first half with the really convincing scoreline. This is something I did not expect to witness from AGF. You and I both saw how demolished, how strong they were for rounds on this too. They had such a difficult time picking up those rounds. They were getting absolutely destroyed on the CT side. And yet we come to arguably a much harder map tactically, and a team like AGF just manages to scrape the floor with Apeks like it's nothing.
This is so good right now from AGF. Again, I'm more impressed that the bounce back after losing a map like Dust 2 so heavily, how they've been able to pretty much do the same thing to Apeks at this point. And that is the more shocking factor than even the result we're on right now. Netric, though, trading back the opening kill of Marcelius. Beautiful lineup, though, but still Luki and TMB. They'll find a double. Akez exposed on the corner, but not that it matters. Luki down into a 1 versus 2 has not yet been picked, but Dennis will do exactly that. And Apeks, they keep themselves alive. They grab a pistol round to at least remain here on Nuke.
Okay, now that's nice. It's nice to witness that Apeks have at least managed to secure the pistol round, because in a world where they also lose the pistol round, I mean, that basically is it. That would be a very quick end like it was in Dust 2, 16-4. But at least with the pistol round going their way, they have a chance of accumulating a few more rounds at the very least. This one being one of them. It's round number 17. Players of AGF have barely any money to work with. Christo tries to go down the fence. Well, the bomb sure does. But the remaining players are kind of stuck. TMB. Smoke. They can try to push Cruz here, but yeah, Cruz has got the perfect weapon to deal with the incoming onslaught of players. So it will be 5 for Apeks. At least they get themselves 5. At least they get themselves a few more rounds here on the CT side, making sure that they can potentially, make this one a bit more competitive. But now pistols are out. It's time to pick up the big guns. As for AGF, we do see the AK-47 here for Luki. The other plays on pistols and armor. But remember, this is not a full-on commitment from AGF. They know that they've got a lot of rounds to work with, so they're more than willing to take not necessarily a risk, but a chance on just a simple eco, so that they would have the best possible investment on round number 19.
Yeah, scarily, AGF are a team that actually does this quite often in terms of taking that extra eco round when they've got the rounds to spare and banking up that economy, and seems like they'll do exactly that again here. A single AK has been posted up, but again, that will be taken out relatively quickly. Marcelius and Gruus backing up the side inside of the Molotov will burn Frost left. TMB left in a 1 versus 4 and a simple shutdown. 12-6. Apeks starting to close the barrier ever so slightly. T-side has been very neglected on this map of Nuke so far. Just 3 single rounds on the T-side has been gained. But we'll see where this can go now. It's AGF that have that early buy round. AWP for Christo. Plenty of utility. This is their one chance to get closer toward closing out here on Nuke. Third and final map of the series. Let's see what AGF have for the rifle round.
Oh, Marcelius, great angle to try and pick up these players. He's firing up the shots. Sadly for him, though, he does not get a single one. Dennis, though, does get the frag here. Netric and AGF, they are picking up the pace. Oh, boy, oh, boy. This could be disastrous for them. Look at Akez. He will move into the Molotov. Oh, he does not secure the frag. However, the rotation is very swift here from Apeks. Luki going for the spray. Problem is, though, it barely affects Cruz. Does deal the damage, but again, the player just keeps on holding that angle, and Christo and co. They're going back on the A-bomb side. That is such a risky move to take, but it works out so well.
Oh, that is so good right now. The retake is on, but still Luki. That is absolutely perfect as he gets away with the vital frag. And now as these players move in, Dennis, though, still no, shutting him down. Gruus trying to move his way in now. Head has been spotted, peeked out by Christo. And Marcelius, last alive in the 1v3, has to go for the save. And AGF, their first time of asking, their first rifle round, they find a victory already.
Yeah, this gun round was, truly important for both of these teams. And for Apeks, this could have been a chance for them to show that they can still pick up a few more rounds in, whereas for a team like AGF, they needed to send a message as early as possible that, yeah, we can still get these rounds in. Yeah, we're still very much on the brink of securing victory. But it was a risky play. I'm not going to lie. They had the very full investment, and what they decided to do, instead of playing it slow, they did quite the opposite. They just ran down the B bomb side. But I'll give them the credit. The fact that they decided to 3 versus 4 like that to still change it up and move up the vents on the A bomb side, that is a very ballsy maneuver. That does require a level of communication with your team to actually proceed with such a tactic. And look at this fast play on the A side.
There is nothing that Apeks can do. It's another save. It has to be, unfortunately, but they're only getting away again with that AWP. And with so much time on the clock, they can just hunt down Marcelius. They know exactly where he's going to be saving, of course. He's in that CT spawn. And AGF, this is absolutely perfect right now. 14-6 on the cards with money gone and with Marcelius stranded. He might just lose out on that AWP. He's being pincered in. The flashes are good. Has to drop the smoke to keep himself alive a second there as well. But AGF, they can sacrifice a couple of these AKs to take down that AWP. Marcelius will just keep on rattling off these shots and might actually get away with the sniper at the end of the day. There's still a Molotov potentially that could be launched in, but still, there we go. Marcelius does save the sniper, but Apeks have very little else to support it.
That's true. That's the one problem, is that Apeks, they're now left with that singular WP. It would have been perfect if they somehow get rid of it as well, if you're a team like AGF, but at the end of the day, they do lose 4 players, but luckily for them, they can still invest fully in this one. It becomes somewhat of a waste of life if AGF end up losing this round and they have some economical difficulties. There's only one thing to blame, and that is themselves, that they've gone for such an aggressive push. However, it is a good start for Marcellus and Apeks in general. They managed to secure the opener, but there's still 4 players to find, and AGF, we can see they already have a player here in the vents. Ooh, Netric, very sneaky about it. The big problem for him, though, even though he's in a prime position to deal some damage, once he opens up the door or breaks the glass, it's 100% obvious where that player is. Akez, though, MP9, he's in for the engagement. Oh, gets the kill. That's nice.
Oh, cross left. That's good from him. Sneaks inside of main. Akez distracted, around already gone. And unfortunately, I think we know where that is heading. Marcelius a 1v2. Frostlef and Netric are low HP, but again, both players are essentially a one-shot anyway. And yeah, Marcelius missing the shot there. 15-6, money is gone. And I think Apeks have done exactly AGF have done exactly what they wanted to do here. A quick map there on Nuke is looking likely with a barren rebuy for round number 22.
Yeah, that's the satisfying thing for a team like Apeks. What you have here is a scout, a few deagles, and the MP9, and of course armor, and that's about it. That is really not a good purchase in any way, shape, or form. So they'll have to do something audacious, like this push right now. Double deagle setup. This could really work out. I mean, if there's a certain Lukey that pops out, it requires just 2 bullets to eliminate the guy. So absolutely, even the setup here in Hut could go the way of Apeks, but it also comes down to whether the players can hit their shots or not. It's a dangerous game Apeks are playing, but they know that they got to get in the danger zone if they want to make this work, because just playing your default setup, that's not the way to go about it. You can get very easily overwhelmed by the amount of utility from your opponents, plus the weaponry.
This stack could actually work out here. Truth on the corner. Well, he has been wiped by a Lukey. Never mind. As soon as we thought it might have been successful, it's completely the opposite. Marcelius with a scout, a 1v3 and a scout in hand. Of course, it will never work out. 16-6. And AGF, they have done it. They have staved off from elimination this time.
They've done it here, AGF, and in what a manner as well. Because once we see that second map being played out of Dust 2, right, we're already thinking this is not looking good whatsoever
Yeah.
for a team like AGF. They just lost that map 16-4. And then we go onto a map like Nuke, and yeah, we're seeing Apeks looking incredibly strong to eventually win this map. The problem is, though, AGF, they turn up 100 degrees, and the players of Apeks just didn't manage to deal with them on the CD side. I mean, the CD side of AGF was tremendous. There were just, those free instances where, yes, the players of Apeks managed to pick up those rounds. And overall, the rounds that AGF did end up winning were pretty convincing.
Yeah, they had a really solid performance. I mean, AGF, like you say, the fact that they bounced back from that position there where they were, losing so heavily on Dust 2, and then the fact they turned it around on Nuke was insane. I mean, players like Frost left, Lukey, TMB stepped up there as well. Netric had some great flanks and such. Everybody seemed to collaborate on that group effort to win out the game. Everybody showed up when necessary. Whereas Apeks, we had some quieter performances of the likes of Groose there, and Truth were very underwhelming in that series. And unfortunately, for a side that, even so, you won a 16-4, you lost on two of the more tactical maps, proving that AGF did have a better game today.
Yeah, AGF eventually had themselves the better game, but we also get to see some highlights here from the Apeks side, and that is, of course, Marcelius having a pretty good game. But this is how the Group C tournament bracket has been shaping up here, folks. Of course, initially we had Apeks versus